What's going on, guys? It's Corey Vanderplu at Corey Photo on Twitter and Instagram. So what are you looking at right here? Why does it look like I keep missing the shot, or I keep panning up and down? Why wouldn't I just zoom out? Well, what I want is this kind of fisheye, kind of ultra wide lens that doesn't really work if I just zoom out. It just doesn't quite have this effect. So I want to get as close as I can and create kind of as much distortion as possible, because the client wanted something that looks very similar to this. And I wasn't going to rent a fisheye lens for this, something I would just use for one shot. So I figured I would make it with two shots. So if I go to my selects here, you'll see I have something very similar. And all I want to do is take these and piece them together so we can get this kind of effect, which makes it look very distorted. And it also gets us pretty close to the reference photo. So let me show you how I did that. Just gonna close these. So let's open them up. So here we are. So the first thing I like to do is make this nice and big and then copy and paste the second file over. Once this is in, I'm gonna drop the opacity, because you see I kind of want it to be very similar. I'm gonna drop the opacity to be very low, and really all I want to do is take this bottom half. I don't really want to mess with this bad boy and this shirt. So I'm just going to bring this as close as I can, and then I'm going to turn on free transform, which is Apple T, and just make it a very similar size. And then I'm going to turn on this warp tool and just get it to match. Because there's so much distortion, I don't mind distorting his body a little bit, but all I really want to do is make these lines match, especially along the jersey and along the pants. And once you get those nice and close, just gonna hit enter, bring the opacity right back up, turn on your mask, push X so you're switching your artboards, and delete it. From there, we're just gonna paint it in. Nice and simple. Very similar to the last video I did, but now you're using it as part of your workflow. The last one was, why would I do this to my photo to make it part of your workflow? And this one is using kind of a very similar technique. And you can see it already looks pretty cool. So now what I'm going to do is take my crop action, which everyone knows that I love and I base my entire image around. This is step one. And because it's on a white background for now, I'll just make it black once I get the crop right. But I think the black's always too aggressive, so I'm just going to switch this over with the G tool, paint it in. Then I'm just going to make this a little smaller. We don't need a huge image like this. I'm going to make a new layer and very crudely just take this color and make sure my opacity is at 100% and just paint it in, just roughly. And then we'll go in and finesse it after. I mean, that looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if I like this one the most, so I'm not going to spend time cleaning it up. Let's go to the secondary image. I like this one. It's a lot more dynamic. I like his position more. I like the arms crossed. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just make a nice big crop, which is really cool that we're making the image this much bigger. Almost like a medium format, just making the file almost double the size, which I'm really into. Copy and paste. The reason I like this is because we're not losing any detail. In fact, we're gaining detail. So again, we're going to do the same thing, get as close as we can, and then Apple T, and then just stretch it out so the lines match. You can get the arm to match too, but it's not that important because we're really only just going to go to this elbow. And then bring it like that. And that's really all you need. Bring the opacity back. Again, same thing. Delete it. And there you go. Dropped in. Nice and simple. That's why we matched the elbow up. So there you have it. Actually, I see that his hair is cut off. So instead of taking a brush tool and painting it around, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to one of our other images right here that his hair looks good there. I'm going to open this one up. And I'm essentially going to do the same technique. Just copy and paste. Close it. Probably a bad habit, but I like closing it before I use it. Drop the opacity, and you really just need these top hairs. You see, why would I mess with this? But this is a good way to practice how you match it up and making it look as perfect as you can. Just getting them as synced up as you can. That way it just makes it much easier to brush in. You can kind of see they lock in when you're in the right position. So then I'm going to bring the opacity right back. Say mask tool, Apple delete, and then I just want the tips of his hair. Done. That's all I needed. So now what I'm going to do is turn my crop on. And then once your crop is on, position it to where you want it to be. I like how wide this is. It's so cool. And then I'm going to create just a new flattened image, which for me is Shift Apple Option E. And then I'm just going to rotate this guy. Working with a very large image here, so you might get a little bit of delay. Now you're going to make a new layer. Select this. And you're just going to very crudely paint around him. Let me speed this up for you. So once that's in nice and crude, I want to go under this layer. Underneath it, you can see I actually messed with his hair a little bit. I want to get rid of that. I don't really want to mess with the hair too much and the flyaways. The flyaways is what keeps it natural. So just be conscious of that. Don't go too close to the hair. I'll show you a little trick. So underneath this layer, what I'm going to do is take a curves and just in the middle, boost it up. You see it washes out a little bit, but around here it looks amazing. Not kind of, it really washed out. So I'm going to do another layer, color balance. You can do this with any color, really, whether it's yellow, green, cyan, magenta, anything. And I'm going to push the blue and the cyan to match our background. And I know it doesn't look like much, but it's going to do a lot. So what I do is now flip the artboards and delete both of these. And then just very gently, where it's a little dark, bring the opacity of your brush down to like 14%. Just loosely paint it in here. Helps a lot along here. Come up along the edges. And again, you're just kind of dotting it in. A retoucher that taught me this technique said it's like a powder puff. You're just puffing it in. And now that that's pretty close, we're going to go with the color balance tool and just fix the blue. And it helps a lot around the hairline. See that the color's looking a lot better. And then just drop the opacity of this because it might have gone a little too far. And you can see that it's still not quite right around here, but around the hair it looks fantastic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this color sample it again, somewhere in the middle, keep this same opacity brush, and now we're going to powder puff in where we're just getting a little too close to his skin. And do this all the way around where you see the most color distortion. His shadow is really cool there. You don't want to go too heavy, but just go around his skin. Maybe a little around his hair, not a lot. Soft opacity brush. And then from there, turn your mask on. Flip your artboard with X. Turn your opacity all the way up. And now you're just going to paint away from the edges. And I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch in slow motion. And then once you get your edges, I like to push the backslash tool because it shows you your mask, and then you can just paint in the full mask, and at least you know you didn't miss anything. And I like to do this always just to be safe. That way you didn't leave a little color blotch that your eye might not have seen, and you take the guesswork out. And there you go. Flip it on and off, and then I like to turn it on and off to. I'm really just looking at. You can see like right here that I kind of went over, but I like to flip it on and off and see how close I got. And I see that there's just a couple tiny little mistakes, like the shadow a little bit, and I went too far there. And then what I would do is create another layer, flatten it, and then just go in and then just add a little bit more dimension. You see, I'm just on the warp tool where you can click and drag. Just gonna make him look, without messing with his face, because it's all about the body. I'm just gonna make it even a little bit more exaggerated. And also, one thing I like to fix is all these weird little bumps that are kind of here, just to kind of smooth out the shape a little bit more. I just like to simplify an image. Probably one of the most important and most common themes on my channel is to always simplify. And then maybe just add a little zoom to his hair, just a little bit. And all this is doing is magnifying the effect, giving him a little bit more stature. I did love what that did. Just gave it a little bit more. And there you go. That's pretty cool. I mean, I used a 24mm lens. Looks like a way wider lens. And you can see we're a lot closer to this reference. It's just a nice, cool little trick. And I know you say I could have used Automate, I could have used AI, I could have used Content Aware, I could have automated this, but I think doing it manually is the way to go. You have complete control and you learn a new trick, and it just makes you a little bit better at drawing if you're using a tablet, and it just makes you a stronger retoucher. But I'm really happy with this image, and now it's time to start the full retouching process. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. My name's Corey Vanderploeg at Corey Photo, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. I respond to everyone. Happy shooting.